3, 2, 1. Hola a todos, welcome back to Latino Living.
Y bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio.
I'm your host, Isabel Juarez.
And I'm your other host, Marta Sierra.
And today I have a very special question for you, Marta. I wanted to ask you what type of señora you wanted to be once you're older.
Ooh. Still a long way, but I want to be those señoras that wake up in the morning and just go to Pilates, bring the kids to school, and just out there sunbathing during the day.
Right, una señora de las lomas is what we would call that. And same, I think that's everybody's goal, to be una señora de las lomas and drive a Porsche and go to Pilates in the morning and eat super healthy and bring your 2 kids to baseball practice, whatever. It's all what we can all dream about that. But the reality is that that's not the cases for most señoras. What can you tell me a little bit about what being a señora means?
Well, typically it's like a lady, of course, of older age, but está casada, tiene hijos, está divorciada. So it's taking care of the kids, taking care of the husband. Some don't work, some do work. It's just, yes, a señora.
Una señora. And in English, it would be the southern translation of that would be like ma'am. Or whenever you're married, you change your would it be like your pronouns? The M or S?
Would it be pronouns?
No. What is this called?
Suffix?
Suffix. Your title. You start off as a Miss, MS, and then when you're a señora, you change it to an M or S because you're typically married. And, you start growing your family. Or a ma'am. You're yes, ma'am now. But yeah, how does that make you feel, Maite?
I'm about to turn 20, and that's already freaking me out. So I would like to not think about it.
Yeah? But do you feel like you'll pick up a lot of, the traditions that we have? We're both Mexican, if you guys don't know. So we're going to talk about our experience with Mexican señoras. We don't really know about much of any other cultures. But we can talk about la parte de Mexico. That's our hot topic.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you see yourself being a señora? Or do you have señora habits right now as a 19-year-old?
I do, and I noticed that when I moved to college because, when kids come to college, you're like, oh, parties, I'm going to go have fun. I was thinking about what am I going to buy for the house? The house has to be a nice kitchen. Literally. I want a nice kitchen.
I want some wooden spoons.
Wooden spoons, good pots and pans,
Yes.
That's what was going on through my mind. But I think I do have some habits like that. I worry a lot about the house.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think I really have that much señora.
Oh my God. No. I'm only a year older than Maite, so let me preface by saying that. I'm such a señora. Yo soy una señora al 100, and I've always told this to everybody. I am an old lady stuck in a young body. I am such an old lady. I go to sleep super early. I thrive off of routines, which I feel is very señora. La novela empieza a las 7 y tengo que cenar a las 6 para poder verla, and then after that I'm gonna go to sleep so I can wake up and watch the news at las 6 de la mañana. Very much me. I love watching novelas. I love cooking. I love staying at home and doing, I was really into crocheting at once. I don't do it anymore because, I have to work or whatever. But, I was very into that. I love the señora aesthetic. I love it. So I am a señora. I'm not even afraid to admit it anymore. This is who I am.
Right.
But growing up, what did a señora look like to you?
You mentioned it before, we're Mexican, and I'm sure it's like that in other Hispanic cultures as well, but, it's a typical el mandil para cocinar, de florecitas, todo, las cazuelas de tarro. Oh, I love those.
Yes.
I already been eyeing on some, but yeah, cooking for the kids, making sure the husbands have everything, like at parties, Los hombres primero.
Uh-huh.
Well, in mine, like the señoras I saw growing up, they typically worked. And typically, señoras do not work in a Mexican culture because, they're supposed to be home taking care of the kids. But that's what I saw growing up, at least.
Yes, for me, like a señora, like looking at my mom and my aunts and my grandmothers, they were always like, always super like clean, like well spoken. They didn't really my family doesn't, or the women in my side don't really say like bad words. They're very like educated, very quiet in certain areas of that. They I feel like this was a thing of trend back then, but they dressed very like professionally whenever it was like for parties, like it was un blazer con unos pantalones, very, put together. My mom always had her hair up. She hated like, and that's the thing that she still gets onto us about me and my sister when she sees her hair down. She's like, trénsense el cabello, o agárrense el cabello, whatever. So she always had her hair up, always done. And my mom wasn't really like that much like girly girl, so she didn't really wear like makeup and stuff, but she was a huge jewelry girl, which I think is very common for señoras as well. Like they have their rings on, their bracelets, their earrings, necklaces, su escapulario, whatever. So I think that's also very like señora like tendency to like want to dress up and feel good. And usually it was gold, which I think is also like very
Mexican.
Very Mexican.
I mean, we do wear a little bit of silver, pero siempre de oro.
Siempre de oro. Some hooks. Yes. So that's like, that whenever we would like leave. But inside of the house, like you said, my mom stayed at home and she would take care of us, take care of my dad. Same for my grandmothers. So it was like, now like us having the privilege of going to college and actually like having a different route than them has been kind of challenging. How has that been for you?
I mean, well, my household, at least with my mom, because I know your mom I think is more of a traditional, especially from where you're from, because my mom ella es de la Ciudad de México, del DF. Entonces ella es un poquito diferente a mis tías. Entonces I like to say that I get my craziness from my mom because she's very different. So I'm having grown up as seeing the typical señora. So I honestly feel like I mean, it hasn't been challenging for me growing up and like maybe breaking the norms in a typical, stereotypical household, a Mexican household. So I don't know. I don't think I really felt the struggle per se.
Well, how was it whenever you like told her, oh, like I want to go to college? Was she supportive of that, or was she like, we'll talk about it?
She was, and my dad was too, because my dad now he's from close to where your family's from, so he's more of a traditional guy. But they both supported me, and they were like, actually, yes, go, get a good job, work.
Yes, this is what we came for, America.
Right.
Yes, which it was very similar in my case, but it was more like, that was always the plan for us to come here and have a better education than they did. And I think me and my siblings are doing that. But I'm the first one to go to college. I'm a first gen from both sides of the family. So like it's like very new for everybody to like adapt to this new idea. And whenever I told my dad, he was like, oh, pero ¿como a dónde? ¿A dónde te vas a ir? ¿Qué vas a estudiar? ¿Qué vas a hacer con eso? ¿Vas a poder encontrar un trabajo en lo que quieres estudiar? Y yo de como que, I hope. I hope I can find a job in whatever field I want to study. And he's like, oh, well, you have to take this and this into consideration. The oldest sister, I have an older brother, but he's like, what if your little siblings also want to go to college? Like, I'm going to have to pay for that too. So you have to pick something that's not very long, blah, 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 blah. It was like all this thing. So like my teenage self was like, so you don't want me to like go to college?
Yeah.
So we came here for what?
Right.
All this struggle for what, Dad? And then my mom, she was also more like even more against the idea, which kind of surprised me. But I think it was more rooted in the fact that I'm the first one to leave the nest.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, like her being scared, like, ay, te vas a ir a vivir sola, which is very, very señora, very señora. De preocuparse,
Sí.
to be, you know, like, ay, pero, de juzgar.
Sí. Puedes cocinar. ¿Y qué vas a comer? Todo.
Sí, en tu vida te has lavado, en tu vida, y yo... Mami, o sea, yes, you have a point. Y yo también me preocuparía, pero, like, you know, like, this is something I want to explore. This is something new. I really want to do it. And she was like, ay, Isabel, no sé. Yo creo que te tienes que encontrar un trabajo acá cerquita, no irte tan lejos. ¿Qué vas a hacer allá? And I was just like, ay, mom. Like, it felt like the world was, like, collapsing to me because I had already fallen in love with the idea of going to college.
Right.
And especially here at NSU, like, I had already toured. So I was like, pero mommy, like, please. So it was hard, you know, like, especially, like, breaking those norms and trying to explain it to everybody. Which it makes me very happy to hear that, you know, your mom was, like, not the traditional señora that we see and we grew up with. And that makes it a lot easier for you. And that leads to the question of what do you hope to pass on to your children as a señora, or like with their cultural norms?
Well, I would say I'm like the one who breaks the generational norms in my family. Mm-hmm. So I would tend to be very supportive,
right,
for kids, especially because, I mean, I appreciate that my parents have been supportive, but there obviously have been stuff where they're like, no, que estás loca, pero obviously be supportive. I don't know if I would wake them up at 7 in the morning on a Sunday to clean con música de señora, o mi papá con su música de banda, que aún la escucha, pero obviously pass down the music. Because, I mean, de chiquitos estábamos con, ay, la música de mi mamá, como que me desespera, no me gusta. Y ahora, ponme una de Jenny Rivera.
Literal. Mi patrona. Juanga. Amo. Y esas son características que hemos adaptado a nuestra vida ahorita. O sea, ahorita yo ya no vivo con mis papás, ya los visito en los fines de semana, pero ya no es de que estoy viviendo con ellos. Y cada vez me doy cuenta de que yo soy mi mamá. O sea, I am my mom. I like all of her like little traits that I used to hate, I like realized I've picked up. Like now, like I hate when people leave a mess like in the fridge, or they leave like empty tubs there, and I'm like, bro,
oh my gosh,
¿Qué? O pongo los frijoles en el contenedor de mantequilla. And I'm like, bro, reuse, recycle. Que es muy de señora también.
Eso es muy de señora.
Los tóperes.
Los tóperes. Uy, sí. Sí. I actually do use like actual Tupperware. I haven't gone to the point of where I'm using like the butter container and putting stuff there. Eso sí, no lo hago. Aún no llego a ese punto. Pero,
sí, pero sí, muy de Princess House. Like they want to have the collect. I don't know what the obsession is with Tupperware. Like, because my mom has them and she doesn't even use them. Like, she has her nice Tupperware that, like, she's like, no, esos no los agarres. Agarra el de nieve que está allá de sour cream. Like, don't use my nice Tupperware. And I'm like, mami, then why did we buy them for? Pero sí, muy de señora los tóperes, la música mexicana, or música de señora, like she said. Jenny Rivera, I feel like, was also not a super traditional señora.
No, she was not. She was not at all. No, like, I think she broke that norm, especially because my mom grew up listening to her, so I grew up listening to her. So it wasn't like Ana Gabriela. I guess Thalia kind of also crazy, pero it wasn't like that, you know?
No, it wasn't like the normal señora that we were used to see.
Yeah.
Which I think Jenny Rivera also was like a mix of both. Because there was like things where, you know, she was like, oh, you know, she's not super skinny, like artist like this. And I think that's what made her like be super famous and unique. And a lot of señoras were able to relate to her being like, you know, who she was.
Yeah.
How she said things.
And she liked to party. She liked it at her concerts. She drank. And I mean, at least my mom doesn't drink a lot. And she's not the type to cuss either. Como hayas dicho, como que señoras no dicen malas palabras. Pero ella sí es de tomar. de vez en cuando.
Mhm.
Y creo que eso no se miraba tanto, como si eras una señora casada.
Con
No,
hijos,
con hijos,
menos.
menos, como que te tienes que ver bien, portarte como una señorita.
Ajá.
Uy, esa frase.
Como una señora, las señoras, they don't wear like, you don't see them wear like short stuff or like showing skin.
Or tight
very
stuff.
no.
It's very loose. It's
Very prohibited. Which I feel like now as the new like generation of señoras and tías that we see, I've been seeing a lot of TikToks and like on social media especially about like the new generation doesn't know how to cook. Like tamales.
Uy.
What are we gonna do there? Like, you know, like los tíos no saben prender la lumbre para hacer la carne asada. Like,
uy, sí.
what? How much have we like really hated on it to where we haven't even been able to adapt those
Which
things?
siento que también es por esa como tradición de que las señoras de la casa son las que cocinan y solo cuidan a los hijos. And it's like, well, mi mamá también se desesperaba cuando yo entraba a la cocina y quería ayudar. Entonces, I get it. I understand. No es mi culpa que no sé cocinar. Pero, honestly, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that too.
Yeah.
We're the new generation of señoras, and who's gonna make the tamales?
No, literally. Like, and I remember like growing up for me and my mom, like, it would make me really mad whenever like my dad told me I had to learn how to cook. Because he was like, ¿qué le vas a dar a tu marido? Y yo, mi marido no va a comer nada. Él me va a hacer de comer a mí. And I like, la agarré odio. Like, you know, it was like, I hated the process of it. I did not want to learn just for me being like, that's not my sole purpose in life. That's not what I want to do. Just cook for my husband. Like,
I think that's one generational norm que yo sí rompería para mis hijos. Como que los hombres tienen manos. Tú te puedes servir. Tú te puedes cocinar.
Yes.
Aunque solo sea un huevo. O sea,
but
¿sabes?
something.
Es algo.
Yes.
No te mueres de hambre.
Yeah, and then like that, you know, that led me to like not know how to cook. So whenever I did move to college, I was like, you know, it would have been nice if I did learn how to cook when my mom was trying to teach me. But then I was like, oh, well, YouTube tutorials are always a lifesaver. TikTok. Muchas señoras que cocinan allí, and they've broken, like, that's a new
thing. There's been a lot of señoras who are on there, and I think I saw one specifically, donde ella dijo, yo voy a ser tu mamá enseñándote a cocinar, and she would make, like, food and taught you how to make food or easy food in case you didn't know you were, like, 10 years old, and honestly,
a lifesaver.
Clock it, because they are a lifesaver.
Like,
they are.
That's the new way that we're learning traditions and how to keep them alive. And, you know, cooking is one of them. And I know I've seen a lot of, like, you know, oh, this is how we used to do it back in the day in El Rancho, how we used to have, like, make café or whatever, make un horno. I've seen a bunch of horno making, which is kind of crazy to me because I'm like, I've never seen this. Like, what do you mean? Our grandparents literally used to do this and we never learned how to. So at one point, like, you know, there's that hate of, like, no, I don't want to be like you. It kind of, like, ruined us a little bit. It kind of messed us up because now we're like,
where are you?
I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? So yeah, that was, like, the biggest challenge for me, like, you know, being, like, a teenager and being like, no, you can't do that. Which is fair. I think it's very fair.
Which that brings us to another thing. A lot of us are, like, almost 30 and we're not getting married.
Almost. Okay.
Well, not us, but like there's a lot of other people that are, you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm 26 or I'm 28 y no tengo ni pareja. Or the next generation of kids or our pets.
Can we talk about that?
Can we talk about that? Well, in my case, it is. Like, my mom already has a grandchild, Piper. We love her, but...
But that's all they're gonna get.
That's all they're gonna get so far, literally.
For the next 10 years, maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
That's all they're gonna have. No, yeah, that's crazy. Because I've seen a wave of that. Especially, it's very señora que tu mamá te diga de que, no, yo no quiero este perro aquí en la casa.
Sí, y luego los ama.
And then they end up like making separate frijoles for them and everything. And it's like, okay. But yeah, that's a very common trait, especially for educated Latinos who, like, you know, do want to pursue a higher... Education.
Especially in this economy. We are aware. We don't have the funds to have a child and, you know.
I can't buy a house. I'm renting. And I'm poor.
Por dos.
Like, no, like, it's very, yeah. And, like, my parents got married super young. They got married at 21, 22.
Wow.
So I was like, oh.
Wow.
And then there's that other social pressure for us because they're, like, expecting grandchildren for us to get married.
Everything.
Yes, leave the house. And I think also a very common trait for señoras to be like, ay, tu hija no se ha casado.
Oh, yeah. Y el novio.
Y el novio.
Mi hija y el novio.
Señora.
I actually had got that question asked this week, and it's like,
Tía, por favor, quiero comer en paz.
literal.
Sí, es muy de señora ser morbosas.
Sí.
Muy de señora.
Chismosas.
Chismosas. Muy de que, ay,
¿Qué
mijita.
pasó?
Ajá.
No sé
Vi
qué.
que te pintaste el cabello,
Sí.
mijita. Que
Ay,
te mirabas
es
más
muy
bonita
bonita,
con
sí.
el otro. Ay, mijita, no. Esta nueva generación.
Sí.
No.
¿Te hiciste otro piercing? ¿Otro tatuaje? Uy.
Señoras are haters.
They are.
Señoras are they can be like very loving. I think they do it from a place of love. But I think it's also from like it depends on the
It
señora,
depends
right?
on the señora.
For like if it comes from like your mom, you know, she's like trying to look out
yeah.
for you. But if it comes from like random señoras at like church, I don't know.
Well,
I would think
that's
about
a very questionable señora right there.
Yes.
She's if she's doing it out of, I just want you to be good.
Sí.
Oh.
Y el novio. Pero sí, eso is like very, very common for them to like expect that out of us instead of like a career, for example. Which I do think for like, especially like Mexico-Americanos, they're like, you know, that is their aspiration for us to get a college education, a good paying job.
And that's like the first thing to us, like, enfócate en la escuela, no te distraigas, nada de novios, o no quiero que me salgas con tu domingo 7.
Yes.
Like, Miss Girl, you had like 10 kids.
Literally, at my age, please.
Right.
Please. But no, it's very common.
Yeah.
And whenever you're like, you know, actually doing that, then that other question arises of, oh, but you're not getting married soon? Like,
Yeah.
are you going to be by yourself? Like, you know, you can't be by yourself. Like,
Right.
It's not, no se mira bien que tú estés sola at that age. Like, what's happening there? So, and you're like, do you want me to focus on my career or do you want me to get a boyfriend? Like,
Right.
what do you want me to do?
Which I know to be the señora I want to be. Obviously, I need to have somebody. Pero I can wait.
I don't want to get married right now. Yeah. No, that's very fair. And then that also leaves to like, I feel like as a woman, I don't know how it would be for men, like in getting señora critics, which I feel like señoras y sus hijos, totally different relationship from señoras and daughters.
Especially for Mexican guys, they're big mama boys.
Very, very.
Big mama boys.
Very much so. Very much like, ay, mijito, no te cases con ella, no te conviene.
Sí.
Ay, you know,
Yo te hago de comer, yo te hago tu comida. Ella no sabe cocinar. Ella no te sabe hacer la comida como yo. Big time. Big mama boys.
Very, very much so. And they don't face this, like, judgment of, like, ay, tú tienes que aprender a cocinar.
Ajá.
You have to learn how to cook.
Sí.
Like, you know, you have to take care of your husband. Because, and then a lot of the times, I think it's very common for the men of the household or, you know, the boys to get the house.
Yeah.
After your parents have, like, passed or whatever.
Or, like, a business, let's say. If your dad has a
they
business.
inherit those things.
Which I think they get most of, like, the pressure from the fathers. Like, tienes que trabajar, tienes que ganar dinero, ser el proveedor de tu familia. Which, you know, that's another topic, pero...
Yeah. Señores.
Señores.
That would be next episode, señores. but for señores, it's like, I know, you know, you have to, like, look good, you have to be presentable, you have to be a lady, you can't say bad words because that looks really bad on them. Like, you have to make a good impression.
Siempre tienes que estar arreglada, el pelo recogido. And as someone who has curly hair, I know it's straight right now, but curly hair, my mom also, te ves, tienes un greñero, tienes que tener el pelo recogido.
It was a struggle. Like, growing up with señoras is harsh, I think.
It can be.
And like I said, like, you know, I used to be like, I know, I hate when people tell me that, like, las señoras que me digan esto y esto. But now I'm, like, looking at my younger sisters and I'm like...
Man, they were probably right.
¿Por qué no te peinas? Like, you know, why don't you do your hair? Why aren't you wearing earrings? ¿Por qué no te pones pulseras? ¿Por qué no? And my sister is like, because I don't want to. Because I think it's ugly. And I'm like... Mommy, did you just hear what she said? Like, And she's like, I see, I've tried to explain it to her, but like now I'm like, I know, I am becoming una señora. Like I'm becoming the thing like I grew up hating.
Which I also think in a way, we're romanticizing the señora life.
Right.
You know, because we're like, oh, I'm going to wake up at 7 in the morning to cook for my husband, or I'm going to stay and take care of the kids, or the pots and the pans, the kitchens. I think in a way we are also romanticizing that aspect of it.
Yes, I think it's very, very common, especially on social media. I've seen a lot of new trends of like, ay, me levanto a las 7 de la mañana to cook lunch for my, not even husband, my like boyfriend, who we just happen to live together. And I'm like, what?
I know.
And like,
you gotta really love that man to wake up at that time.
Very crazy, especially if you're super young.
Yeah.
Like there's absolutely, in my this is my personal humble opinion, no need. Like,
right.
Like, you know, like y'all can both do that. Which is also a very señora belief of mine, is like, you know, like you guys aren't even married.
Right. You don't have to do that if you're not.
You don't know him that. Like
I would understand if, like, let's say he took her out of work and she's only at the house and they have no kids. Okay. Vale. No sé, lo entiendo, tu responsabilidad. Which is also, I think, a very señora pensamiento.
Yes.
De mí, you know, because it's like, pues, ¿qué estás haciendo? No estás haciendo nada. Por lo menos puedes cocinar o puedes limpiar. O sea, estás en la casa todo el día.
Literally. Me with my roommates. Like, I'm like, you didn't go to class today. ¿Por qué no barriste? Why didn't you sweep? Like,
right.
We needed to clean out the fridge. Why didn't you do that? Like, you know, which are very señora.
Very señora.
Thoughts. I mean, I'm like,
yes.
Like, no, suddenly I don't want to wash my white clothes with my colored clothes. Like, I want to separarlas. I don't want them to, like, mix, which I think is, like, señora, I'm like...
Well, I think that should be common sense, honestly. Don't wash your white clothes with colored clothes, guys.
I did that once, and I have a pink sweater now. But those are señora thoughts. I'm like, you know, like, I see muchachitos, like, in the calle, and I'm, like drinking and smoking, and they're, like, 13, and I'm like...
Oh,
Dios mío.
Yes.
¿Qué?
Like when your mom's like, ay, no, es que no sales, no haces nada. Por lo menos no estoy haciendo nada malo, no estoy embarazada, no tengo nada.
Which, eso te hace la rarita. You know, because you're like, for me growing up, I was la rarita. I am la Bibi. La Bibi de Familia Peluche. Like, I very much, you know, like, I used to hate going out to parties. My dad to this day begs me to go out to like bailes and stuff with my brothers, and I'm like, papi, yo me quiero quedar aquí y leer un libro. I used to love reading books.
Por dos. Mi mamá le decía a mi cuarto, mi cueva, porque no salía de mi cuarto. Siempre con un libro, o quiero un libro, y ella, no puedes pedir otra cosa.
Qué rara eres. Sí. Like very much like that. Like I don't want to do that. Like. No, and now I'm like that I'm 20 and I'm like, I have no kids, I have, you know, my career set, whatever. Everybody's like, ¿y cuándo te vas a casar entonces? And I'm like, ¿y por qué no me preguntas de mi graduación, tío? Like tía, like
how's your school going? You know,
like,
you could ask that.
Yeah, like they have no idea what I'm doing for like college-wise, but
yeah.
And the number one comment still is like, are you gonna get married? Are you gonna have children soon? Like, you know, like you're running out. You're 20. You're like.
Yeah,
you gotta
and
get
for
moving.
us women especially, you're like you're running low.
You're running late. That clock is ticking.
Yeah, that clock is ticking. You gotta tener hijos pronto porque si no ya no puedes o ya no tienes la paciencia.
Exactly.
Which is crazy that señoras to a certain age are still having kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing.
Which is very, very common to have like an uncle the same age as you, and you're like 30.
Right.
Like, yes.
Like, how did that happen?
It's very common in the Hispanic communities for our moms to get pregnant like later in life, maybe at the same time that we're having kids. Like, it's very common to, you know, have un primo and an uncle be the same age.
Right.
Which is kind of insane.
Yeah. Or even younger.
Or even younger, yeah. And what do you think that happens?
Why or oof, I don't know.
I really do think this is kind of like, you know, a subject, but the taboo topics that we don't talk about, which is like sexual education. Like, so there's señoras like
they don't talk to you about anything that has to do with that, you know. You have to figure it out on your own. And I mean, for you said Mexican Americans, we get taught somewhat here about what it is.
Yes.
But we can never talk about it in the house.
No. Or if we have questions, anything like that is, we don't talk about
we don't
that.
talk about it.
We don't talk about, which is also why I think a lot of like teenage pregnancies in the Hispanic or community happen, because a lot of them aren't educated in the subject, don't have the sources maybe to go and get, protection or whatever that is. And I think that a lot of that happens with señoras, especially like older señoras who maybe like were born and raised in Mexico. They were never taught that. Don't really have, maybe they don't work or have a car. I've met a lot of señoras who don't know how to drive. My grandma doesn't know how to drive. Like, she was never taught to. Very much dependent on the men to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's, sexual education is a thing that we're lacking a lot in the Hispanic community.
I mean, señoras are also like getting married and having kids como a los 16, 17 años. O sea, they didn't get the education on it because they were basically,
just thrown into it. Yep. Yeah. Figure it out. So it's very crazy, and I'm happy in a way that we're getting that education for them, and we're able to teach our kids or even our like little cousins, like, oh, you have to do this. This is what happens. And we are kind of like serving as a role model for them to be like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how things work. Let me know if you have any questions or whatever.
Yeah. And
we're able to be that resource that we didn't have or that we still don't have. So, yeah, señoras, we have to do better in that sense, which I hope our generation is a lot better.
I think we're doing a lot better. I think we are.
I think so.
I mean, we're talking about depression, we're talking sexual education, we're getting an education where, especially our women, they're living alone, they're doing things by themselves.
Which is
like
the señora. Si yo sería una señora and I would say that, I think a lot of that comes from envy.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Like, señoras, like we said, very morbosas, muy chismosas. They want to talk about everybody. They want to talk about that. But I think a lot of that roots from jealousy because they didn't have the same opportunities.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like if they would have had the opportunities to get that education, especialmente cuando, no sé, en México, digamos, ellos hubieran preferido get a job, work for what they want, everything.
Yes. But it's also the señora to be haters, like we said, haters. Like, for me, I think it's happened a lot that they see, like, somebody who's, like, not their traditional señora, and they're like, ay, ¿por qué se viste así? Que ya no es una señorita, es una señora.
Sí.
Tiene 2 hijos y un marido. Por favor.
Qué bueno. Yo, de señora, obviamente no me voy a poner minifalda y, una bolsa escotada, pero yo siento que I would not dress my age.
Exactly.
I would be those type of señoras that are so fashionable, like, rocking out in high heels todavía mis, no sé, 50 años with, like, some nice jeans that get sand. I don't know. But I would be fashionable. That's all I'm saying. I would not dress my age.
No, yeah, like, same. And I see that, and for me, like, my role model for that was mi tía. Mi tía, my mom's, it's not even her younger sister, her middle sister. She, she went to a hairdressing school. She does hair. She dyes her hair blonde. She's a very light-skinned Mexican. She's very, very beautiful. Her whole thing is, like, putting outfits together. And even whenever she got married, like, this is who she continues to be. And she has 2 kids. Yeah. Her whole pregnancies were fashionable pregnancies. Like, she was out wearing heels. And she got divorced. And now a lot of señoras, like, attack her. Yeah. And they're like...
Especially with a divorce. You do not divorce your husband.
You do not divorce your husband in the señora culture. Like she was getting, like, so much hate, like, but even, like, it was all throughout her career because she was, like, pretty, like, she wasn't a typical traditional señora. She was, she loved to dress up, she loved to dye her hair, she loved to do her makeup, and, like, not go with this image that we're used to seeing in señoras. So a lot of señoras hated on her for that and did not want to be her friends and talk, like, smack about her and was like, ay, no, ella no es una señora. No. And, like, even my own, my opposite family from her, like, were like, ay, no, Juana, you can't do that. Like, and I'm like, she's a woman.
She's a woman.
Let her be. Like,
Yeah.
let her be. Let the woman be. But I think a lot of that roots from jealousy.
Yeah.
And whenever she did, like, leave her husband or whatever, a lot of people were like, ¿por qué hiciste eso? What are you going to do now? Like, and like many others, she didn't have a job whenever she was married. She has two kids now to take care of. So it was like, why would you do that? What are you going to do now? You're so dumb. Like, blah, 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 blah. And now she's, like, doing great without her husband. And she has her 2 kids, and she's doing, the best she can. And she's the happiest she's ever been.
Right.
And now, and she still gets that judgment from
and you
Señoras.
see that, well, I might just be outing them. Pero, por ejemplo, mi abuelita, de parte de mi papá, mi abuela. My grandfather, he was very conservative. He was the typical Mexican husband back then. I work, you take care of the kids. I don't want you wearing this. I don't want you wearing that. All that. He was very, very conservative. As soon as he passed away, she cut her hair. She dyed it. She gets her nails done. She obviously doesn't dress another way because she's still in that mentality of, I'm a señora. But, like, she se rebeló, básicamente. So I think that they look down upon, let's say, when a woman gets divorced because they're like, damn, I can't do that.
Yeah, I wish I could.
I wish I could do that because I don't have they might not have, like, education to get a job. Or some, like, especially in Mexican cultures here, some women don't know how to speak English.
Yeah.
Only the man. Or they don't have a car, only the guy. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I think it, like, obviously, like, being compassionate towards them is another thing. Because, like, some don't have the resources to leave. Yeah. Especially if they have, like, 5 children, there's like, oh, now my children need me and their dad, which I think is very Hispanic core, too. Like, they would rather be together even though they don't, like, love each other for the kids. Instead of just, like, divorcing, going their separate way. So, that's very...
They might be haters, but they're still, at the end, strong women.
Exactly. They're trying to deal with things the best they can. And now I think I'm, like... Whenever I was a teenager and, like, my tias would criticize me, I was like... I don't want to talk to you. I hate you. Right. But now that I'm older and I'm aware of, like, things and how things, might be for them, I'm like... Yeah. Okay, like...
Te entiendo.
Te entiendo. Not fully. But I don't support your decision or what you're telling me. But I get where you're coming from.
Right.
And I think that's something that as us younger señoritas are trying to get better at and trying to influence other people into, like, doing that. Because not all señora things are bad. Right. There's some good things. There's some good things. Do learn how to cook. Not for your husband, but for you.
For you.
You're gonna appreciate it.
Yeah. You're gonna want to know how to cook.
Yes. And, like, take risk. Make that pozole. Make those tamales. I made pozole the other day and I was freaking out and it turned out good.
I made caldo de pollo and it turned out good.
Yeah, exactly. And those are things that you can pass on to your children, to not even your children. Like, you can, like, show other people who... or maybe not part of your culture, like, oh, this is how Mexico does it. This is how whatever, So it's very nice. I love dressing up like a señora. Right now we're dressed up as señoras. I don't know if you guys could tell.
Yeah, we
tried.
We tried.
we tried. But I feel like this is an outfit our moms would wear. So...
Not mine. I went more for, like,
Señora de las Lomas.
Sí. The little... like button-up shirt, the loose jeans. I tried.
No, I think this is something my mom would wear. My mom was very, very classy to this day. Not a lot of makeup, but a lip liner always, and some gold hoops always, and her rings. So yeah, you start to adapt yourself into those, and embrace being a señora. Don't get older, which is another taboo topic that like now we don't want to get old. Yeah. Our generation does not want to get old.
We're scared of getting older.
Yes, we want to get Botox.
I mean, we were talking, like, there's been a lot of, like, reels and TikToks where it's like, mi mamá pasando por la menopausia, mi hermano en su etapa de adolescencia, y yo en mis crisis de los 20.
Yes.
And it's so true, because, like, you can't imagine turning, like, 20. Or at least me. Yo no me puedo imaginar ya cumpliendo los 20 años. Pero it's like...
Oh, I had a crash out. I was like, 20? 20? What do you mean? I was 12 yesterday. Like,
right.
20?
Especially with like what COVID passed. Like I feel like I'm still back in COVID.
Yes.
Like I'm still like 16 or something.
But no. We're getting old.
We're getting old.
And
I found my first gray hair.
Oh, I have a ton.
I almost cried.
I've already accepted my canas. I call them my wisdom hairs. I've earned every single one of them.
That's cute.
But I think it's also hereditary because my family is very canosa. So I got the gene. Out of all the 5 children, I got the gene. But I think like this younger generation, I think their biggest fear is not maybe having kids, but even worse than that is getting older.
Yeah.
Especially I see it in women because they're like, getting Botox at like 30, and I'm like,
well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd get Botox, but I mean, you want to age gracefully at the same time, but you also want to be looking good,
Yeah.
Te quieres ver bien cuando cumplas 30, 40. You don't really want to have wrinkles, but I don't know. It's scary.
We're going to see where this all goes, or what the new generation of señoras is going to look like. Like, they might not be looking old.
Yeah, I mean, what? Kids that are like 12 are already doing their makeup and looking like they're 16.
Yeah.
Like, when I was 16, I still looked like I was 10. That's scary.
So we'll see. That is one thing that scares me about being a señora. But now, is there anything else you would like to say about señoras? Or a señora message?
Embrace it, Don't be scared to be a señora. It's okay.
It's okay.
We love it.
We're going to be there every step of the way, and, just embrace it. Yeah. Just mira tu novela, listen to your song, limpia, baila.
Sí.
Do whatever makes you happy, and if that is señora life, then
so be it.
So be it. But yes, is there I was gonna ask a question, but I forgot. I don't know. That was it. But yes, to all the señoras in our life, thank you for helping us be who we are today and helping build or shape our future. Y por estar ahí and giving us consejos, even though sometimes they weren't the best.
They weren't the best. But we appreciate them.
But we appreciate them.
We'll listen. Will we do it?
In another life.
Yeah, maybe.
But, they were there. They were there. So, this was Señoras episode. I hope you guys liked it. We'll be doing a cute little, series on this and talk about, mamás, tías, abuelitas, sisters.
La familia.
Whatever you guys want us to talk about, comment down below. And we'll make sure to read them. But, yes, Maite, do you want to close out this episode with me?
Of course.
So... This was Latino Living, un podcast para todos. Ciao.
Bye.